And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those
guys.
What's up? I just seen your window go live, so we're good to go, and everyone's still in the chat. Hey, Michael Blade, Drone Shots, Logan Carpenter, and I just got your alert on my phone and on the computer screen here. So,
hey, Drone Shots, what's good, man? Michael Blade, what's
and
up?
Classic, I'm sorry, I didn't forget your Classic.
Oh, Logan Carpenter, Classic, what's good, man? How are you guys doing this evening? So what's going on, Lawrence? What's up with you?
Yeah, there we go. How are you guys? What's up, the View Chaser? I'm not familiar with that name, but let me click on their account and see their channel and see.
The View Chaser?
His profile is a Phantom drone.
Okay.
I see a Tiny Whoop video, and I see something from Fun last year. Okay. Welcome to View Chaser. I'm sorry I'm not familiar with your channel, but I'm going to support your channel right now as we speak.
Okay.
And we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Glad to see you doing fine.
Michael Blade, Tim Jackson, what's good?
Mr. Jackson.
JSK, how are you? Has anyone seen Jay Santiago? And do they know if he's okay or not?
Heard from him. I don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna have to try and hit him up on. I'm gonna have to try and hit him up on Instagram or through Facebook and see what's happening. Okay. You know, just to make sure he's okay and stuff like that. You know, how's everyone this evening? Night Train, how are you, sir? What's good? What's good? Hey, Night Train, quick question. Brant Ariels, how are you? Quick question, Night Train. Did that guy that won the motors ever send a picture or anything with the motors, or he destroyed them already? Do you have any idea? LOL. I just figured I would ask because I wanted him to send some pictures of the build with the motors so I could at least see it before and or he flies it, but I guess that never happened. Anyway, how's everyone doing? What's up, Herman? Tom is still in makeup.
You know what's funny?
He'll be in shortly.
The control room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Control room used to show me everything that was going on. That's working in Zoom. It's not doing that anymore.
What do you mean?
The control room does not show me you or Tom. It only shows me.
There's something wrong there.
That's odd.
Because I had the control room, I had the analytics on the bottom.
Yeah, I have all of that.
Oh, okay.
I have all of that. I have the chat. I have the chat that's in the control room, but I do not have you streaming into the control room.
Well, YouTube says you're live. Everyone sees you.
No, I see myself. I see it. What it is that it's not showing is your camera and Tom's camera.
This is what I was talking about. Now, hold on. Zoom now opens 3 windows.
No, I don't know.
Okay. I have the Zoom meeting where all 3 of us are in, and then I have your camera. When you talk, you come up on that window. And it's kind of weird, but I'm not used to.
You can't put it in gallery view?
Hold on. I can't put it in gallery view. Well, hold on. View here. It is in gallery view. Let me just show you what I have, and I can explain it a little better.
In gallery view, and it
right
shows
here.
all on the screen.
This is the top screen. It still shows Tom in makeup here, shows me. That's gallery view. But right here, this window on the right-hand side, I don't know what happens, but if I close that window, my camera will shut off. So Zoom is on some new stuff here. But earlier, before you went live, I could see myself here. So I don't know if this is some host window. I can't figure it.
I don't know what they're doing.
For another service to stream.
We're going on ahead without them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. But let me get rid of this here.
But I just wanted to let everyone know that last week's show was a pretty good show. according to YouTube, YouTube had issues with it, and they took offense to the hummingbird.
Yes.
Hummingbird. The BBC claims that I used their hummingbird.
Tim Jackson says Zoom had an update.
And I got a copyright, well, not a strike, but
it's a warning.
They basically held the show until it was removed, the picture of the hummingbird. So now they uploaded it to YouTube. Anybody that wants to see it could see it, but that part of the story won't be there.
Yeah, they insisted that he take out that section, especially the part of the video that shows the hummingbird this close to the camera. But my problem with it, with them hitting you with that, was it's a crock of bull, because we gave the BBC full credit. We acknowledged where the video came from, and I put the link to the video so other people could watch it. Now, see, you just switched from gallery view on Zoom to single view. Is this the new way now?
I didn't switch anything.
All right, well.
Everything's still the same here for me, just that for some God unknown reason, according to...
I'm not even going to look up there.
According to you.
Hey, Russell, how are you? You look better than when the video is blank, according to Tim. Yeah, I know. I was trying last night. I was having some technical issues.
According to YouTube, the camera can't see anything but from the middle of my glasses.
Well, they can see on YouTube. I'm looking in I'm in the live chat. See, now it went back to gallery view. This one.
I'm really getting tired.
I don't know, but Zoom is trying to drive you crazy. Oh, Russell said that you didn't. Okay, my bad.
What happened?
YouTube seems so frustrating lately because they're making changes. Zoom is making changes. What it is, YouTube doesn't want you to go somewhere else. They want you to stay on YouTube. They don't want you using external or third-party entities to broadcast on YouTube. So they're making a lot of things difficult. Put it that way.
What's up, Tom? How you doing?
The fact that you
good, Herman, how are you?
Video stuff made it fair use. Well, see, I understand that, Brant Ariels, but the fact that, hey, Tom, the fact that we gave the BBC credit and Herman's live stream is not monetized, but they still hit him with a copyright because it's the BBC.
Associating those two things together because they don't coexist. They don't have to coexist. You understand what I'm saying? So you can get a copyright strike without being monetized. They do not have to ride together.
Well, since the new rules, because
no copywriting, they do not have to ride together. They don't. But the way the video was used, it was used in good faith and saying that we were talking about a story that was featured on them. And I got the copyright strike.
Yeah. Okay, so you're editorializing, and you have a right to editorialize and use the video, for a set period of time. Yeah, I thought we did.
Yeah,
so did you even provided the link. How are you, Joe?
But seriously, copyright and the fact that you have a non-monetized channel, they do not have to work together, monetization and a copyright strike.
No.
They do not. It's about the copyright laws. It has nothing to do with your monetization.
Yeah, I see that, because before, at one time, you could not get a copyright slap on the hand or strike unless you were monetized. Now, like you said, you don't have to be monetized. And I think that's kind of messed up, because that literally means if Tom is sitting here on our live stream, and I'm not even going to show this mask on here because you might get a strike, but there's a painting on it. But if he's drinking a can of Coca-Cola or soda and the logo shows on there on the screen, they could hit with something.
Yes and no, because I've had
they won't.
I've had videos.
That's product placement.
I'm just saying hypothetically, Tom.
Never got a strike for it. I've only gotten a strike for it when using epidemic sounds and for that bird.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I don't use epidemic sounds, and I won't use anything from the BBC anymore.
Well, I know the BBC. Hey, Philip, how are you? And welcome to the live stream. I know that the BBC is real funny because Hadley did some flying for them. They had some kind of weird dust storm that happens every year.
Okay.
This was last year, and they were very funky about what he could not show any of that footage anywhere, and they hadn't even decided, which I understand if they wanted it or not. But to make a long story short, that was work for the BBC.
A lot of people
And
do that.
That's the way it works, Lawrence. That's the way it works.
The hoops.
You're contracted for hire. It's their content, not yours. You don't own the copyright. Right. I've been a member of PPA for 35 years. Right. Copyright law is something I know very well, and I've gone after people who've taken my images and used them. Okay. In advertising.
Hey, what's
successfully.
Up,
so you were editorializing. You weren't repurposing their content. You were actually editorializing their content.
Right. That's what I thought they were doing, but they didn't like.
You want in Stevie?
It's covered under fair use.
Right. That's what I.
But you're dealing with YouTube, so there's no winning.
Unfortunately,
right?
This is sad but true.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you guys this week?
Well,
Why is this any different than
last week?
Last week and the week before and the week before that. Well, okay, let's talk about Groundhog Day. That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
So somebody said to me today, who was it?
Groundhog Torture Day, you mean?
Well, yeah. Somebody said to me, who was it that got bitten by the groundhog and who dropped the groundhog?
De Blasio.
I said, no. Now, Bloomberg got bitten by the groundhog.
But De Blasio
dropped the groundhog. Now, when Bloomberg got bitten by the groundhog, okay, the groundhog hadn't seen its shadow. Now, when de Blasio, dropped the groundhog originally, when de Blasio picked him up, didn't see its shadow. Mm-hmm. But when de Blasio dropped the poor groundhog just before hitting the ground, he saw his shadow. Okay. And by the way, the groundhog expired as a result of his injuries.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Stevie. Yes.
So de Blasio goes down as a.
He killed the groundhog.
Goes down as a rodent killer too. Okay.
Yes.
He can't get the rats killed up in
now think about
the
this.
Upper West Side, but he was
de Blasio was actually he's actually tall too. So the poor groundhog
that's a pretty
further to fall.
That's a pretty high fall.
He's too soft.
Hold it, Philip. I didn't recognize you can actually get strikes off epidemic sounds. I've been using it on most of my videos and never received one. Well,
that's because you got to try to free sample when they give you that when they give you the opportunity to use them. Yeah, when they give you the opportunity, 3 free. Yeah, that's when they give you the copyright strike.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how I got my first copyright strike. I went and I used it. They give you 3 free tracks, and then they say, "Come on back and browse." And I was still like, "Okay, maybe I can make this work." And then I got a copyright strike, and I was like, "Oh."
Well, I used 2 of them. And when I went later on back and used that 3rd track is when I got the copyright strike.
If it's free, it's too good to be true. Okay.
Right. They lure you in with, come on, try a free trial. Come on.
I use 2 services. I use Audio Blocks and Soundstripe.
Okay.
For my licensing. So.
And
I post credits at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I do too. I just use what's those?
These are things that you find out, Tom, when you're first trying to find music, because if you use,
I don't use free music because there's never anything free about it.
Well, see, this is true, and unfortunately, fortunately, I don't mean unfortunately, but YouTube actually stepped their music game up, because there was a time and point where there wasn't a whole lot they had in their playlist with using keywords that I hadn't heard in a while. And I went back and checked it out. And for those of you who don't know, it's even harder to find the audio library now. You have to search for it, but
well,
you can find it.
it's real easy to get a copyright strike off of audio. Okay,
Yeah,
very, very, very easy. Because there are bots out there that are
true.
searching for that. Okay.
You
There's something you do. There's something you can do to your images, actually. It's called Digimark. Okay. And Digimark is a service that basically embeds
Is that in the metadata?
It embeds it
Okay.
in the metadata, but it's not visible metadata. Okay. So what it does is it embeds like an ICD-10 code. It basically embeds a code into that's unique to you as the image creator.
Stevie, I sent you a link, man.
And then they provide a service that actually
tell.
goes out.
Okay.
It goes out and it searches for your stuff constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And they go after the people who use your stuff, and then they get a percentage of what they recover.
Okay.
YouTube had something like that at one point. I don't know if it's still working. Where you can actually scan to see who's using your stuff.
Yeah.
Remember when you found that there was some girl and somebody else was using some of your videos, Lawrence?
So like finding cruise ship photos that never mind. I'm just going off a dark path. Very dark path there.
I'm going to pay attention to the chat.
Lawrence, there was some videos that you found someone was using your video at one point. You have found
this dude
YouTube
I'd like to thank them because they notified me to let me know that someone was using my content. So I was like, well, I've never had this happen before. And I go and I click on the link, and he was using the same exact title and my entire drone video, which is what it was when I was flying my Phantom 4. Was standard. And YouTube said, now, how do you want to handle this? You can send him a nice note, and if he doesn't do anything within a certain time, we'll take it down, or you can let us handle it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to send him a note to let him know that I know he's using my content. I said, if you don't take it down, YouTube's going to do it anyway. And he took it down, and in my copyright folder, it shows resolved.
That's the same guy with the 50 Cent music.
Yes. He put a rap song. He took a popular 50 Cent song and a rapper song and put it to my drone video. And he was getting crazy hits off of it, or else I'm pretty sure YouTube might not have even recognized it, but he was getting good views because of the song, and I guess they were enjoying the video, whatever the case, but they made him take it down. And I was glad about that.
Copyright.
See,
yeah.
See, YouTube should give you the credit for the views.
He's about to get hit with that copyright.
I know. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well,
yeah.
Well, then, but playing with 50 music, you would have had to give him and Dre and all of them a check.
Listen, and that's okay because
what's up,
they
Eddie?
do it to you now. Hey, what's up, Eddie?
Eddie,
they do it to you now, Tom. If you,
I have a cease and desist letter, a format letter that I keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's basically a takeout. Yeah, the Professional Photographers of America, they provide all that stuff if you're a member. Plus, they provide you copyright lawyers. Okay. And they provide indemnification insurance. So you get a bridezilla or something that doesn't like your services. You hand them off to the PPA, and then their 20 lawyers deal with Momzilla and Bridezilla, and you don't deal with them ever again, and they resolve it. So a wonderful service. About $300 a year to maintain membership and accreditation. And
what's up, Roger?
That can be tough. Hey, Roger, because once they make up their mind, there's nothing you can say that will.
Oh no, and you don't even try to. You don't even go down that road. No.
Get them to compromise.
That's why when I did weddings, everything was paid up front. Okay. The church organ didn't even start until I was completely paid. It didn't work any other way. Okay, because you can't have people changing their mind after you've already delivered a product.
Herman, I keep telling you, we're doing the wrong thing here, man.
What? You want me to not start the show to this 40 people in the chat?
No. We're doing something wrong here. I'm trying to find the formula.
Oh, okay.
The right formula.
Well, I mean, hey, listen. I let people do things their way.
Here's a quick question before we get into the drone news. Because, we usually wait for people to come in, but it was nice here in New York today. There was 0 wind.
You know
maybe
what?
5 miles per hour. Did anyone fly today in New York City metropolitan area?
Somebody did, but
Asgard Studios, how are you?
I believe that somebody got out there. Somebody was out there, but I went out to check on the car, and all that snow is starting to melt.
I looked at my wife's car. I said, another warm day like this, I won't have to clean the top. But it was soft. I should have actually gotten out there today, but I got up.
No, it just fell right off the car when I pushed it.
Well, I know the mound
in the trunk.
2.5 foot mound that's on the side of my wife's car, 2.5 foot, 3 feet in some parts. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go out. I'm going to start at the front of the car, and I'll probably do to the door to get inside.
The storm was a day and a half ago, Lawrence. It was a day and a half ago.
Well, not all of us have snow blowers, Tom.
Well, even with the snowblower, I went to bed real early, whimpering. Okay, that's all I got to say.
I could believe it because my neighbor did a path from his house to our house to the old people's house next to us, and then he went across the street and did the old people there. And at some time and point, I live on a hill. The garbage truck actually got stuck because he was pushing at least a 4-foot pile of snow. And he must not have had enough speed. And you see him lifting the shovel, dropping it, and he couldn't figure it out. And then he backed up a little bit and was able to come through the block. But as a result of that 4-foot drift, I have a 2.5 to 3 foot drift I have to dig out.
Well, yeah, I had thanks to the New York City Department of Sanitation, I had a sludge wall at the end of my driveway. Okay. And that after thawing and freezing is like a 2-family condo now out there. Okay. If I push it into the street, then I'll get a $300 fine.
Herman, one last thing before we start. Did any of you see on the news my city, Far Rockaway, on the news this morning? They had, one of those Home Depot pickup trucks with the metal flatbed with a shovel. It was the Department of Sanitation. The water had came in because out here on the peninsula, a lot of the sewers lead to the Jamaica Bay. Okay. And what happened, because it was high
storm
tide
drains
yesterday,
the storm
drains got clogged with ice, and it starts overflowing the sidewalk. Well, anyway, all you see is this pickup truck going backwards down the block like this in waves of water, because it actually broke the seawall and started flooding in with ice. You see garbage bags floating by. It was pretty bad out here.
Well, I got a sludge wall right behind the igloo they built. Okay. Because now everything is blocked going down to the storm drain down the corner. So I got the freaking moat from Hill right outside. I want to see how the car gets, I did the driveway. For those of you that live in areas where every house is separated, and here in New York, we're a little dense in more ways than one. And I'm in a semi-attached. So I actually share a driveway with my next door neighbor across the driveway.
Wow.
And we invested in a snowblower 20 years ago. The problem is the driveway is 70 feet long between the two buildings. So where do you actually put the snow? So it was pretty funny. The first year we did it, we built ourselves a wall we couldn't get through, pushing it in front of us. Now we push it up against the house. And as we make our passes down, then it falls off the house. And then we go again. And that takes 3 or 4 tries before you finally clear that driveway. That can take about 2 hours. So,
wow.
But then I did the entire block. I went down with the snowblower down the block, about about 4 feet wide. And then, you know, a couple of the neighbors on the block later on that day, they came out with their shovels and cleaned up a little. And, you know, so you count on your neighbors. You do for them, you know, good karma, bad karma. You know, do for them.
It's true.
And hopefully they do for you, you know.
You need to be able to get into with a truck and scoop it out of the driveway and just drop it in the front yard, let it melt from there. So
before my neighbors had moved in years ago, there was a guy who was renting a garage in the back from the next door neighbor. And he knew somebody over by the cemeteries. In Queens here, we're surrounded by cemeteries. And all of a sudden, you know, after this really heavy storm, I heard this pickup truck outside the front of the house. And I ran out to see what was going on. And he had actually paid this guy in the pickup truck from the cemetery to come down and plow the driveway. I had to stop the guy. I stopped the guy just in the nick of time.
Wow.
We have basement windows. So if he would have came down this narrow driveway with the plow, he would have blown out both basement windows in both houses as he pushed the snow.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Down the driveway. And when I stopped him and I explained to the driver, hey, you can't do this. He was like, oh man, I'm so glad you told me. Well, the guy who rented the garage in the back, he wanted to pick a fight with me because I was stopping him from getting his car out. So I had an obligation to shovel the snow out. And I was like, good luck with that. My next door neighbor decided not to keep him as a tenant to the garage after that incident. So that resolved it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lease renewal there.
Yeah, I could see that in the middle of the winter, having your basement windows blown out and filled with, you know, half your basement filled with snow, right?
Well,
common sense is at a premium.
I got a tree out here that helped itself to my window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where was this, during this storm?
No, this must have happened because what I noticed, it grew onto the side of the wall and started to grow up, and it was around my window, and I pulled some of it down from where it was going up. But this side over here broke the first, you know, it's a double window. The window, it broke the first
the same
glass.
Situation out front, double pane window. It breaks the outside. You lose all that inert gas inside, and now you don't have that insulation anymore.
The computer loves it, but I can't sit here. It's hard.
Yeah, I know. I'm in a really old house. It's so drafty, man. This house is so drafty.
But Lawrence, Tom, you know,
beef jerky.
What happened?
No, go ahead. I'm responding to
we were talking about something once before, and it's up again because Aviation Safety Resources XRD recovery system to be offered on the SBX eVTOL. That's a lot. Now, ASR and Grug Group have completed a strategical development and supply agreement. The agreement will make ASR's recovery system standard on Grug's SBX aircrafts. Now, Larry Williams, president and CEO of ASR, he has said that hold aircraft parachute recovery systems are essential to the projected market growth in eVTOLs and urban air mobility.
I can show this video
once again. Yes. Now the ASBX, it's a full electric aircraft with vertical takeoff and landing. Now it can be piloted or flown autonomously. That's the aircraft. There's the parachute recovery system that they're talking about using. Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting about this, he was saying that a parachute on a plane that flies, you know, is moving forward is easy to do because the parachute has the ability to open as the aircraft is still moving forward. But when you have a vertical takeoff, if something is to happen, that makes it even harder for the chute to open. So they have they've developed this system to be used on VTOLs because I don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's a drone. I don't work in the parachute.
Well, the main
they had to come up with a system that would allow it to be able to open.
So one of the things you have with parachutes is time to deploy.
Yeah.
And if you don't have enough time to deploy, you are now called a rock.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, with low altitude flight, which this is basically going to be, right? I mean, we're not getting 10,000 feet of altitude here. These things are going to probably fly between the 4 and the 800-foot level.
Right.
And in order to safely land something of that weight, as you saw in the video, they're using at least 3 chutes, but they're also using propellant-driven chutes.
Yes, which
for rapid deployments, right? The problem I have with this is that thing is about the size. I mean, it appeared to be the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
Here, I could go back to it.
Okay. I don't care with parachutes or not. If you're not paying attention and that comes down on top of you, I got to think that thing probably weighs about 12 to 1,400 pounds. Okay. So 12 to 1,400 pounds landing on me, even gently, is 12 to 1,400 pounds. I probably wouldn't survive. I probably wouldn't survive that. Okay.
You're absolutely right. I was listening to the video and listening to what they were talking. And he's basically saying that vehicle will not destroy when it hits the ground.
Well, it won't destroy, but they'll be able to pick your body parts up and figure out where they go.
Well, you limit damage. Okay, that's what you do. Okay. But see, show that video one more time. Okay, I want to point something out.
Let me set it up. Let me get it. There we go. Right here. Share screen.
Now the control room window is acting right.
Now, who's to say if this thing goes into a tumble or not? But supposedly it's deployable in 2 seconds. So if you have enough chance to get a hit on that button or the sensor I guess figures after 2 seconds, you're falling faster than you're supposed to be falling.
And this
so the
falls on the point you're talking about, Tom.
Well, the point I was going to make was, did he select that rooftop? Was it selected for him?
Oh no.
How about hitting the corner of one of those buildings? Then what happens? How effective are the chutes then?
This is exactly what I'm talking about, because due to circumstances and certain unpredicted circumstances, like you said, Tom, those chutes may slow it down. But what's to stop a chute from getting snagged on a building? Or it actually hitting a building, because it's free falling, and in the city, each block has its own wind tunnel.
So let me relate a story to you. On July 5th, 1993, I responded to an unusual occurrence in Midtown Manhattan, where 1993 on July 5th.
Okay.
The 160-foot dirigible and gondola smashed into a Manhattan rooftop.
I remember history.
I was first on scene on the roof, evacuated the pilot and the co-pilot. No significant injuries, but the balloon looked like a giant.
Click that like button, guys, even you lurkers.
Maybe not, Philip.
The blimp basically looked like a huge Salvador Dali painting on the side of the building. Okay. It had come down, and the amount of damage it could have done, okay, would have been really significant. 6-story building. So it would have taken out several apartments, but the big problem was
on the way down. Yeah.
It had 100 gallons of fuel on board. Okay. And luckily the tank didn't rupture. None of the building residents were injured, but I would say they were shaken. But now, so this is a blimp, right? Light in an air vehicle flying over Manhattan. Okay.
Right.
And with some of the same controls, those ducted propellers, right?
Yeah,
think about it on a blimp.
True.
How much are they like the vehicle you just saw? And that pilot still could not control that as it came down. So I really don't know how, if there is any active control on these air taxis.
Well, Tom, you have to.
Thing.
Go ahead, Herman.
No, but hold on. What I'm trying to say is I understand exactly what everybody's saying, but let's look at this. These aircrafts are being manufactured by people who make aircrafts. Aircrafts, very rarely do you hear them crashing once they have been certified for use. Now, we had the issue.
I'm not disputing that.
We had the issue with the 737 MAX. Now, what I've noticed is that the FAA is starting to look at these people and giving them approval for certain things. So,
well, okay, so I'll give you the counterpoint on that, Herman.
Okay, because I
know
manned
aviation, airworthiness, airworthiness certification. I gotcha. I agree. In fact, I'm behind it 1,000%.
Right.
I've stated that before.
Right.
But that's not my issue here.
No,
if I happen to be in a Cirrus or a Cessna with an emergency parachute system, which they're available,
yes, they do.
I'm usually flying at an altitude of several thousand feet. Okay. Now, I have something called glideability, where even if I lose my engine after feathering out the prop, I still have a glide distance. Okay. Based upon my altitude, how far can I glide? Right. Okay. These don't have a glide ratio, guys.
This is true.
What happens? What happens when the prop on your Phantom stop?
It goes down.
And it goes straight down.
What I'm getting at is that we're thinking about this, and I understand that is an issue. But look at this
drift.
When you have an auto manufacturers, when they make cars, if they had two vehicles, right, had the same exact problem and murder two families, are they going to recall that vehicle?
Okay, wait a second. Is this made by Honda? We gotta vet that first. Look. Here's my issue. But my issue is, if this air taxi,
answer that, Tom.
If this is flying between 400 and 800 feet, and here we are in Manhattan, how many buildings are as tall as 400 to 800 feet?
Well, Tom, this is where
too many for this kind of thing to work in New York City.
But true, Tom. It is almost impossible for it to work in New York City, but you can almost guarantee, in order for those drones, air taxis, delivery drones, whatever, in order for them to fly over a metropolitan area, they're going to need some kind of system similar to that. Now, you have to take into account, and we've watched NASA splashdowns all the time. The Pacific Ocean is a large body of water to hit. The Atlantic Ocean is a large body of water to hit. And they can guesstimate where it's going to drift down to according to the winds, etc. Now, like you're mentioning, Tom, here in New York City, if it's flying at 1,000 feet and you have a 1,200-foot building with including antenna, like the Freedom Tower, there's an issue. But
1,776 feet.
But there are actually buildings that are 50 stories, 60 stories, 40 stories. And from that 1,000-foot drop, depending on how those chutes deploy, if they deploy in time, you can't tell where that thing's coming down. But it's a lot.
How many buildings in New York City are taller than 18 stories?
Most of them.
You ready for the number?
What?
You ready for the number?
What's that?
18,000.
Buildings in New York City. Wow.
Now,
that are taller than 18 stories?
You keep saying
correct.
Like if that parachute opens, Lawrence, what would make you think it's an if?
It's a what? I didn't hear you.
What would make you think it's an if? If that thing was in the sky, what would make you think it's an if?
Well,
poorly maintained batteries, they start to swell.
No, that's in our bag, yes.
That's DJI. I'm sorry. Yeah,
in our bag, yes. What would make you think that parachute's not going to open?
Well, they've been using it. The company's been making money. They make this. Apparently, it works.
If you see that in the sky, if you see it in the sky,
I hope we can support the drone. Well, I hope it can support.
No,
that
they won't
vehicle.
be on it if it can't.
Well, here's my point.
True.
As it comes to the ground, as it's floating through the building, the cityscape, as we like to call it here.
Listen, I won't be here when
and it hooks up on a facade and hangs off the side of a building. I just hope it can support the aircraft and the passengers inside until
it depends on when the building was
somebody
built.
can come and rescue them.
It depends on when the building was built.
Look, the way I see it right here,
building, then that
this is depending. Now look at this here. As you see, it wobbles for a second, which is definitely a sign of motor failure.
So do I, but that doesn't make it a bad person.
Right, but depending on how this thing falls, depending on how this thing falls from the sky will dictate whether that chute will deploy or not.
Stop it, Lawrence. The chute will open.
Okay. The chute's going to open.
The chute will open.
It's a rocket propellant chute. It's going to open. Okay?
Yeah.
The chute will open.
The chute will open. Now, whether you hit a flat surface or not,
true.
Not a lot of flat surfaces.
And if you notice, it's still drifting. It's not, it's almost falling straight down.
Well,
but not quite.
That's the thing now. Do you have any active control?
No.
If you have motor failure here,
not.
you have none. Well, you could have some. Remember now, you don't need enough velocity to lift, but you can have some velocity to push.
All I'm saying is if you make all this shit out of styrofoam and Nerf, that thing will be fine, man.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. Yeah.
I would have to agree with that.
I just see this thing hitting the side of a building. Maybe
causing,
30 stories up. Maybe 30 stories up, hitting the side of a building. The debris field would be pretty large.
It would. Well,
when it came down and hit the ground.
Tom, we've seen that. We've seen that here in New York when a crane would fall and hit a building. That happens here often in New York. Right, Tom? That happens often here.
Drone crash, Lawrence? Tom, have you guys?
What happened?
Have you seen the zip line drone crash? That thing just disintegrates.
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah,
it's designed to just.
Oh yeah. That's a different. Yeah. Hopefully, this is not designed to disintegrate. Okay.
No, well, yeah, that thing's got to come down like a tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. A cast iron tub at that.
No, the cheap new fiberglass ones.
Well, yeah.
The ones you stand in it.
Look, there's all kind of technology out there. The military's been using zeros for a long time. Zero seats. Ejection seats for a long time. What that means is it's effective at zero speed at zero altitude. If you're sitting in that ejector seat and you punch out, you will survive. Oh yeah, you will survive.
No, if the plane is just sitting on the ground and you hit the button,
so there was a there was a fan ride that the Air Force gave a defense contractor a couple years back. He didn't even know he was going for, he was retiring actually. And his buddies got together and got him what's called a fan ride. And they put him in the back of a 2-seat F-16,
right?
A training F-16. And they took him on an operational, meaning they were going to do some, some intercepts and stuff like that, training stuff. And they only got him. He didn't even know when he was coming in that morning. He thought he was cleaning out his desk. They got him into flight medical, and they found out, you can't do more than 3 Gs, and then they got him in the aircraft, and I guess the parachute rigger didn't cinch down all his straps properly. But when the pilot took off, and he went to go vertical, and then remembered that his backseat passengers shouldn't surpass 3 Gs. Okay. So he unloaded at about 2,500 feet, but he went negative G. When he went did that, the guy came out of the seat slightly. And what did he do? Because he wasn't cinched in tightly, he grabbed for that black and yellow ring between his legs.
Oh, wow. And pulled.
And he pulled. The cockpit fractured.
Mm-hmm.
He went. The pilot disabled his own seat because it was a back seat.
Yeah.
Few seconds. Front seat, because if the front seat goes first, that blast hits the backseater.
Right.
Okay. So he wound up landing the aircraft without a canopy. And then when the guy survived, the passenger survived. Okay. Fractured pelvis, I think some broken ribs.
A lot of vomit.
Yeah. A lot of
piss.
Yeah. Piss, shit. Yeah. It's it all comes with the package, basically. So so it's always a series of failures, right? And that's why, when people tell me, oh, they're going to buy a parachute for their drone and this and that, I always say to them, do you know how expensive that is? Because if you say I'm going to get a parachute and then you're going to try to get a flight over people with that parachute has to be professionally packed each and every time.
Yes.
Okay.
The little cheapy one that they got there I don't think it's cheap, but
it's not cheap. It's several hundred bucks. Several hundred bucks to repack.
You can't repack it yourself?
No.
You have to be repacked a certain way every time. And the only way to ensure that for insurance purposes is have the company repack the chute.
But the only way it works. But the parachute you jump out of a plane with, they'll let you repack yourself.
No, you never repack that yourself, dude. Unless you are certified to repack.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You can do it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, if you're certified to do it, hey, But then again, if I'm certified to, I'm board certified to do surgery, I don't think I'm going to do surgery on myself, right? So most
I saw that.
Most skydivers have their chute checked by another person.
By another skydiver.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that about the surgery. I was watching a show. They had a guy who was a plastic surgeon, and they had to rush him into the emergency room because he was doing surgery on himself and passed out.
That's who you want to go to, huh? Yeah.
That's the guy.
No matter how much education, it does not make up for common sense.
That's true. The guy you want.
This is true.
It always falls short, man. I know plenty of PhDs that it's piled high and deep because, boy, man, they can't work their way out of a paper bag.
Hey, guess what, guys? Drones are set to battle Locus. The UN warned East Africa remains under the threat of desert locust invasions.
Every year.
Somebody say Southern Nevada.
Favorable breeding conditions, which enable new swarms to form and increase. As Africa, African countries prepare for the crisis,
what's up, Dave?
Smart Arctic company XRG or ZAG, or however the hell you pronounce that, has
ZAG, Z-A-G,
yeah, whatever.
ZAG
has proposed that agricultural drones, through more targeted night spraying applications, can strongly support the current ground and aerial control measures. Now, they want to use this agricultural drone to spray for locusts over in African countries. We've seen this once again, just like the parachute, these type of things being done. This is actually in the United States, this doesn't actually fall under Part 107. The flying of agricultural drones or spraying.
Agricultural spraying, right?
You have to have a different, I think it's a different certification. I don't remember exactly.
You have to have a COA
for the chemical spraying.
Right.
You have to have a COA.
Actually, each leg sprays a certain amount of mist through it. And then what's interesting about it is locusts have to rest during the day after swarming. And also the weather being cool affects them not being able to fly at night. Like most insects, as the temperature drops,
right,
they literally have to rest up and become dormant.
Well, in many regions of Africa, because of the climate, these locusts have left, many people without crops and has caused starvation. So I thought this when I saw it was very good. I'd like to see more things like this being done. Even if it even if you don't have to have a parachute in case it comes down.
Well, the fact that they're using these drones to spray the insects, what you forgot to mention also, the main reason for the spraying is not only to limit the locust from flying the next day, but they also, their larvae, because this has been a very moist season in Africa, or so they claim, a lot of the larvae, each time they land, they mate and or whatever they're doing. Some of them are pregnant, some aren't. But the main thing,
similar
if you
to
kill the
mosquito,
larvae, they will not come up the following year or something to that effect.
So in July of 2019, there was a pallid grasshopper infestation of southern Nevada. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where they took over the city, basically. Yeah. Okay. And, you know, what was funny about that was in town that same week was the North American Bedbug Summit. So I guess their timing was perfect. You know, when you pick a convention weekend, I guess the word got out. Okay. And the grasshoppers figured they'd come for the ride too. But yeah, I mean, look, you can use drones for so many different aspects in agriculture, right? You can use them to everything from tracking drones to tracking swarms, okay, to mitigating those swarms.
We've seen them used for seeding.
Yeah, actually, you know, there's so many cattle counting, herd counting, right? Mapping, thermal imaging of crop fields, soil density readings, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, Zach has
hey, Big J's DJI experience. Welcome. Hello from Spain.
Locust swarming is something I think is right around the corner for us here in the US, right? I mean, you know, right after the pandemic, we'll be bored. We'll have nothing to do after we solve this one. So yeah.
Well,
okay, look over your shoulder.
You know,
and get your drone ready. How many videos have you seen, Herman? How many videos have you seen of individuals using their drones to deal with wasp and hornet nests, right?
Okay. Well, see, that's the number one reason why they can't spray the locust during the day, because the swarms are so thick that they actually look like moving clouds over the land. So it would be foolish to put a drone up in.
But it's actually best to catch them when they're lamping.
What happened?
It's better to catch them when they're lamping.
Right. So that's where they discovered that
the only time you're going to catch me.
Do they have to rest after eating all day long and mating and whatever else, but while they're resting, you can catch them overnight. And these drones, I think, can be as close as 30 meters, which isn't far. Well, it is kind of far away, but the higher up, the more the mist comes, it spreads out, depending on how many you're using.
Well, that was a very interesting story.
Drones for good, once again.
Right, once again, working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drones at work.
Anything for the betterment of man. I'm not cool when I see an X-class drone and somebody being dragged by it. I don't want to see stuff like that. But if you show me drones doing good, like drones helping farmers patrol their land better than getting in a car, horse, whatever, or plane to just look at their property, it's if it's for the better, I like it. It's a good thing.
As long as it's not, you know, for some kind of stupid malicious intent, you know, or, you know, to take it upon yourself to join the police department and things like that. And, you know, as long as you're doing the right thing with them, I think drones are fine. And somehow, some way, we got to communicate that to the rest of the world. But
true.
You know, because
Big J's DJI experience. This is your first time here. You mind if I ask you how you found it? Yes, welcome, first of all, and how you found this channel. Did we come up in a recommended list, or are you looking through live shows? Or you
he's in Spain. Cool.
Are you web surfing? And the reason I'm asking is because with Herman, I, and then Tom, we mentioned it too, also have started to discover that our demographics are starting to spread outside of the United States. We have people listening from Ireland, some people.
Oh, you're welcome.
Listening from South America, from South
Said
America. We even have one gentleman. If he can't catch us because of a different time frame, he watches the live stream from Africa. So, yeah, I was just interested in asking, how did you find the channel, or was it on a whim, or it came up recommended? We'd be interested to know, all the way in Spain, being that we're trying to reach other demographics. Okay. And I'm taking it that you did some kind of drone search, because it looks like you are a drone pilot, DJI experience. In fact, right now I'm going to go to your page and let's see. Okay, 1K plus supporters, and I'm supporting your channel right now.
Apparently, I have run into Big J before because I am already subscribed to his channel.
Okay, now, well, I just supported his channel.
It's got to be. Okay.
All right. Very good. We appreciate you coming in. No doubt. We appreciate it. Anyone that has the love for drones, or even a hate for drones.
That's why I know you're from.
What happened?
Okay. That's why I know Big J from. Ken Herron.
Okay. Well, like I said, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.
You know, we do this drone talk, drone news, and every now and then we go squirrel, and that's basically it. We have a live stream every Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I don't know what it's converted to in your time. What time is it there where you are, Big J, in Spain?
5 hour, 6 hour difference.
5 or 6 hour difference. Okay.
I believe.
All right.
What's your GMT?
Okay, interesting.
Right now we're -5. So yeah. So you picked up 2 new subscribers. Herman already subscribed to you, apparently. And you picked up Lawrence and Tom as new subscribers.
Yeah,
welcome aboard,
Thursday
Big J.
night show, Ken Herron's. That's where you know him, Herman.
Yeah, that's
Ken Herron's show, Thursday night. All right.
There you go. Good deal.
Well,
midnight. Yep.
We're glad to see that you're supporting.
He's got a 6 hour difference.
Let me ask you a question. Big J, did you like the little fro that I had back in the day?
Oh yeah, if you saw him, that's true, Big J. If you saw him on Ken Herron's show,
you know my grandmother hated that hair.
Herman, I so wanted Ken Herron to go, "What you talking about, Willis?" But he didn't do it.
My grandmother hated that hair. Every time I went there, she would grab me by it. When are you gonna cut it off?
But, well, just click the bell on Herman's page so you know every time he's live, which is the same night every week, Wednesday, unless for some catastrophe or something happens. And add me, and I do a live stream on Sundays, which would actually be midnight Monday morning on your time. See, Herman, you got a fan here. I love your vids, mate, and the fro. That's what's up.
Ken had a meetup in Jersey down on the Jersey Shore. What was that? The day after Christmas, we were all down there. A few guys.
Okay.
It was cold as hell, but it was a fun day. It was a fun day. Ken is a big kid at heart, man.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what? He enjoys life. It's like he had an epiphany and said, "You know what? I'm just going to do me." And he enjoys it. And I commend him on it. I mean, so many people can't stand him, and I'm like, why?
And he sucks you right up into his fun too. It's like,
well, how was it when you guys were hanging out? I know it was cold as hell, but I know you said he did a couple of cameos on. You were trying to record vlog, and he would run by behind you or something.
Well, here's the deal. Ken, the way he has fun, I met him, on YouTube, and we spoke on YouTube. I was on his show, but we never met in person. Yeah, we met in person the first time. It was like I knew him for years. He sucks you right into his fun.
Everyone support each other's channels. That's how we do here, Big J. We go in like El Smeghead. We support each other's channels, whether they have content or not, because it's just that type of community.
That
But
promo you did, El Schmeghead. Oh man.
We have Tom's story coming up next.
Yes, Tom has the DJI story on the Enterprise.
The Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced.
Yes.
So DJI did release a new drone. You got a picture of it, guys?
You know what? I could pull one up if you keep talking.
Yep, I can do that easily. So the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual was a 12 megapixel visual camera with a 160 by 120 thermal imaging camera, and probably the number one choice of public safety out there, and a real lifesaver as far as drones go.
You're being very difficult, Tom, with the
image. I'll send you a link. Just don't show the top of the website. Okay, hold on.
That's not a problem
right now.
But I'm
just
looking.
Scroll down to one of the first images, and I'll take it from there.
On Facebook.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you in Messenger on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
I'll do that right now. Okay. No, well, I'll send them something else.
Thank you, Big J. Big J's. I just got your comment. Much appreciated. Let's go to Tom's name here.
So, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual has been out for several years now.
Got it.
And it's a real workhorse. It really is a phenomenal drone, used quite often in New York City for public safety operation.
Thank you very much, sir. Here we go. There's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll tell you when to scroll if you're on that page.
Oh, right? No, I'm on their photos. We're not going past that.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I was looking for, but okay.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead. Just scroll. Yeah, stop there.
Here?
No, scroll. Yeah, right there. Stop there.
The thermal. Okay.
So let me tell you what's significant about this new one. Okay, the Enterprise Advanced actually goes from a 12 megapixel camera to a 48 megapixel visual camera.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I saw that.
Half-inch
8,000 by 6,000 half-inch sensor. But the real big boost is it went from 160 to 120 thermal imaging resolution to 640 by 512 at 30 hertz. That is huge.
Yes.
Scroll down just a little to the next image.
The next image. I was getting ready to ask. 30 times zoom is really nice.
32 power zoom you're seeing on the screen right now. It is digital, but remember what it's being used for. It's being used for inspection. It's being used for survey. Okay.
Yeah. And thermal is important.
It's being used for positioning accuracy. So that is that 30 power zoom. Realize something that even the thermal imaging has zoom capability. It's got 16 power zoom on the thermal imaging side.
So that's this one right here. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
What's the zoom rate on the actual Mavic Zoom? I don't think it's even. It's like 3 or 5.
Well, Lawrence, even comparing this to the original
that's what I'm talking
Enterprise,
about.
not the Zoom, but the original Enterprise that they came out with.
Yeah, this knocks it out the box.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is now the dual vision, allows you the switching. Now stop there. Stop on that image. Guys, here's why I tout the Enterprise Dual as a lifesaver. Okay? And I'm waiting for the image to show a little better there. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's good.
So if you look on the what you're seeing on your left-hand side,
correct,
is the thermal image. What you see on the right-hand side is a visual image. Now, just looking at the visual image, tell me where the fire is.
You can't see it, but
looking at the other image,
you can see it on the floors. 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. right
that
here.
there's fire on the 12th and 13th floors on exposure number 1, which is street side. I mean, right away, you know what you're dealing with.
Right.
Okay?
And you see how many
that
rooms.
Quickly.
You see how many rooms it may have taken over.
What your spread
the entire
is.
floor.
Yeah, what your spread is on the floor.
Yeah.
So, public safety, man, this is a lifesaver because you can get to the operation that much quicker. Think about firefighters working on a roof and being able to zoom in and see where they are, even in a heavy, smoky condition.
Right.
You can still see where those firefighters are operating. So a few other significant things is the advanced RTK on this. Yes, that's the big hump you see on the front of it. Okay.
Oh,
that can provide.
I can go back to the pictures.
Scroll back up to that image. Yeah.
Right here.
Now that can provide centimeter level accuracy.
Oh, you're talking about this one right here. Here we go. Bingo, boingo. There we go. You're talking about this this device right here on the top.
It looks like it's got a hump. Okay, the top hat, just like the if you've ever seen a Phantom 4 RTK, same thing because the technology is pretty much the same. Of course, the Enterprise Dual can still accommodate the 11 lux spotlight. It's 11 lux in power at over 98 feet up. And of course, the 100 decibel loudspeaker and the 3 nautical mile beacon.
Here you go, Tom. I didn't realize that I didn't have.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that wasn't sharing.
Department, right?
Well, remember the speaker, we've all heard samples of how well the speaker works.
Have to reset the box.
Okay. The Civilian Drone Task Force showed how effective that was. So
the Civilian Drone Task, that's what I was told.
So when you're looking at that image, realize that's an accessory item.
Yes.
Okay. So that'll come right off the top. You can put the loudspeaker on. You can put
here's the 2 screws.
You can put the beacon. Yeah. So but again, this is a new. So that RTK module will not work on the previous Enterprise Dual. It's not backward compatible because the drone itself doesn't have the technology built into it, nor does the previous version have the level of resolution that this new one has.
Right.
So price tag, we're looking at about $6,300. About $6,300 for the package.
Add 2 more drones on the price of the other one, and you.
Yes, actually, it's $6,240.
It's a very capable, very capable. The other thing they did was they increased the ascent and the descent speed also. And we all know how difficult it is getting your drone back down, how long it takes. Okay. True. So they actually increased both the ascent speed and the descent speed on it. So, very capable, very capable. And as far as the RTK capability, of course, centimeter level accuracy, but it will also handle natively out of its own application. It'll handle 240 waypoints programmed prior to flight.
Okay.
So a very, very capable enterprise level product here. Survey,
that sure
inspection.
That sure beats the price tag, Tom, of $8,000 to $12,000.
You know what's funny? When I saw some of the other ones that came out, and I looked at what DJI originally did, and I was like, "It's nice, but it's not really it yet." And then some of the other ones came out, and it's like it surpassed it. But this one here is what they really needed. DJI, every time you think DJI is down, kick to the curb, here they come.
Nothing kicked to the curb about DJI. It's just one of their biggest.
I was about to say, who's
one of their biggest customers.
DJI to the curb?
Man,
listen, one of the biggest
I don't
customers.
Think you've been listening to the news.
No. One of the biggest customers, the U.S. government, isn't buying their drones right now. Not the only customer. See, when you're not a smart business person, you saddle up with that big customer and you think you don't need anybody else. Believe me, DJI didn't do that. DJI has the market share across the globe.
Yeah.
So definitely not down for the count.
In each and every class.
And everyone has
each and every class. You have to think from The $400 drone, Tom. How much does
consumer drone, Lawrence?
How much does the M600 cost? The M600.
I don't know, but the M300 cost us about 16 to 18.
Okay, so you figure
without payloads,
whatever the M600 costs, they have the price range covered from $400 to $20,000. That's a pretty wide
consumer
market.
Drone, Lawrence.
Huh?
Forget about consumer drone.
Yeah.
You're talking about DJI and drones. And when I said kick to the curb, we live here in the United States. So when you talk about these drones being in the hands of people who are doing this type of work,
right,
they're not allowed to use it. They're not allowed to use it.
And M600 is
Big J says they use a
$6,000.
speaker system off of their drone on the beaches.
It's
sure. It's quite a popular
it's
thing.
Great.
And they probably
it works very well.
Enterprise. They're probably using a Mavic Series Enterprise. Maybe first generation, I don't know. I'm pretty sure of it because the speaker was a big thing, especially here in New York. But we won't go into
Can we
that
show
story.
that video without a copyright strike? No.
Who's going to give you a copyright strike from the Civilian Drone Task Force?
I don't know. You a card carrying member?
Are they still?
Do you have any affiliation?
Nope. Are they
Is this sponsored by? We could get sponsorship probably. Those guys brought to you by the Civilian Drone
Task Force.
Could you imagine?
Got to change the voice though. Sorry.
Oh man.
Well, we're just trying to keep from going.
Look.
That avenue.
You can't buy this drone with U.S. federal dollars today. Okay? But that doesn't mean if you have other dollars you can't buy it. So there's still going to be an industry out there that's buying this drone. Okay, if you're a petrochemical company, power company, large agricultural company, inspection company, you can buy this drone because it's cost effective.
There's a backdoor way in for them to actually use it.
Oh, it's not even a backdoor way. You can buy the product.
The U.S. government for what they were worried about and what they were allowing.
Oh, you can't buy if you are associated with or funded by, you cannot spend those dollars on DJI's product today. Okay. But if you're getting your dollars from elsewhere, okay, and that cuts out all the feds. So if you're state or local and you're getting money from elsewhere, yes, you can buy the drone. Okay. If you're getting it from your state's Department of Homeland Security, you can't buy the drone because they get their money from the feds.
I agree with you, Grant Ariels.
That's all it is.
The United States government isn't that big a consumer compared to the rest of the world.
No, it's the single largest consumer.
Yes.
But if you add up the rest of the world, no. Okay.
Well, from what we read in these articles, going back talking about the fire, the usage of these things for controlled burns, and the drone DJI equipment, there was an allowance that was made for them. If they can control the data and what's going on with it, it could be used. And that is what the article had mentioned. So the
political spin that was put on that has to take a new shape and form. Okay. And we'll have to buckle in and wait to see what that looks like, because I do believe that there'll be some changes coming forward. What they are and how much is rolled back, I don't know. All I know is I know firsthand that I can't take a federal dollar and spend it on that product, regardless of where the data goes or how the data is wrapped. Okay?
No, I was talking about the stuff that they already have and there's already in use.
Negative. Well, okay.
That is what the article was talking about.
The U.S. government stuff. The U.S. government stuff is grounded, pure and simple. Okay?
Yeah.
Public safety stuff isn't grounded, still being flown. Okay? Irregardless of whether specific groups or not have their data wrapped or not. Okay? But at the federal level, regardless of whether you can wrap that data or not, it's not permissible to leverage that product at this point in time, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce. And it has nothing to do with the entity ruling. That's for new product coming in. We're talking about there's a there's a nationwide ban on the use of the product. And the biggest hit comes to the Department of Interior. They're the ones suffering the most, and we suffer because Department of Interior is responsible for forests fires. Okay, they're responsible for making sure the U.S. Forest Service is properly outfitted and capable of doing their job. So that's where I see. I believe, given a little more time, things are going to lighten up a little.
I'm going to say this. When we had the issues with the forest fires, if you let that bother you about getting that to doing your work, I don't believe they did that.
Yeah.
I don't believe they did that. I believe the drones went up.
Well, I would have to disagree with you because the drones were not flown by Department of Interior staff.
Okay.
Okay. Wasn't flown by their staff.
That was quite a spectacle. Oh, Andy. Forest fires caused by
plant
lasers.
aerials. Yes, according to one U.S. representative, they were caused by space lasers by Jews. She was specific, okay? She was very specific about who was firing the space lasers.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and this is why the rest of the globe doesn't see us as exceptional anymore, gentlemen. Okay, U.S. used to be considered exceptional. Okay, we're exceptional now. I would think it's more that we're challenged. Okay, when you got somebody that was voted in that believes, okay, space lasers cause the fires. It's simply amazing.
Okay.
I got to go for dual citizenship in Canada. I just figured it out.
You know what?
I guess the snow protects the forest up there, right?
I'm speechless. I'm just trying not to say anything.
What? Well, I mean,
and 9/11 and the school shootings were all fake too. Okay.
There's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of things that have happened that are somewhat unexplainable. Like I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around that. If you sweep the forest floor, that we won't have these fires either. I kind of understand that one. But anyway, it's a drone channel.
Oh, you got to get but again, you need a migrant workforce to come up to be able to sweep, right? Because she's not coming out to sweep, is she?
True.
To sweep the forest floor.
No.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Look, all of these companies got a leg up. Okay, they got a leg up to compete with DJI. Now, shame on them if they blow their chance. That's all I'm going to say about it, right? Because you couldn't compete with DJI until the U.S. government came in and said, "You know what? We're gonna give them a handicap." Okay, it's just like playing with that 300 bowler. Okay, and you got the 114, score. Well, guess what? They're going to handicap the ass out of that next game, right? And that's what we're doing right now. So all these other companies that are now blue US, get your act together and do something with it. Okay. And bring some real competition to the game, because we win when there's real competition.
True.
You have only one game, you're going to pay through the nose for whatever that game is, and you're not going to have a say in whether that game is meets your standards or not. Okay, but when you have choices, it makes a difference.
Yeah, like you said, that one game in town. If that one game in town remains the one game in town, that one game in town may not improve at all because he's the one game in town. How much improvement does he have to make because he's that one game in town?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're fortunate that DJI has been innovating. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's a company that sees value in always advancing their product, not being stale or stagnant.
True.
Okay. And that's a mindset. These U.S. companies better better jump on board because, look, you're only as good as your last game, right?
That's true. That's true.
I came out with a great product 10 years ago.
The availability.
I might have had my 15 minutes of fame 10 years ago. Where am I today?
Tom,
you got to keep coming out.
You have to think about it.
Better.
These drone companies here in the United States come out with a drone every 2 to 3 years, and DJI is coming out with a drone on the average of every 8 months to a year. So,
and you'll say, well, look at their infrastructure, look at their, their bank account, look at. They had to start someplace too, right?
Yeah.
Now you'll say, well, they're backed by the Chinese government. Okay, you're backed by the U.S. government. What's your next excuse?
Right.
Okay. So get it together. Stop whining about how under the 8 ball you've been, behind the 8 ball you've been for so long. Get your act together and release some product that really makes a difference and serves the public.
The federal government has made it hard for them because they can't get the parts from China to make it if it's going to be made in America.
Well, then it's not really, what are we talking about? Then bring some of that manufacturing back onshore. Determine that 25% of it has to be onshore in the U.S. Make those kinds of decisions.
Big J didn't go there. That's a punch, 1-2 punch to the kidney from behind. Just look at the GoPro Karma.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Well, good thing keep your eye on the GoPro Karma because it's probably coming at you.
It's a shame that drone came out and the best thing on it was the camera.
The only decent thing on it was the camera.
Yeah.
The camera. That thing was a handheld. It didn't want to fly.
Well, it should have just been labeled on the box, hold here and run into brick wall.
Now, have you guys seen that video?
It would have been safer.
With the intro for the $6 Million Man, and he says it's the GoPro Karma.
No.
Yeah, he has a video of a drone crash. And he added the intro from the $6 Million Man.
From the $6 Million Man.
Crashing.
Get out. She's breaking up. She's breaking up.
That's
funny.
All of that into it. Yeah, that's a funny video.
Well,
hey guys, smash that like button.
DJI is doing
the show.
And every time someone comes out, we talk now. Let's go to consumer drone. Every time someone comes out with something, and you think to go and get it, and is what the best thing that I find with a lot of these drones, truthfully, is the fact that you want to push these things and you get them into the hands of the guys that you feel do reviews, and they put these reviews out, and by the time those reviews are out, it's starting to kill your sales. And then DJI will drop something and it'll outsell it. And then if that's not the case, the beauty of DJI is the fact that when they say that they're releasing this, they got them ready for you to buy. It's not I got to send them a couple of bucks and wait 6 months and hopefully they can get one out the trunk and
reserve yours for $100.
Yeah.
And I'll eventually send you an email. I'll eventually send you another email.
Went under.
But hold your breath because it'll be 2 years before I get your damn drone.
But I'm still taking pre-orders on the V-Copter if anybody's interested. It'll be out eventually.
Eventually it will be. Eventually I'll be out too. Okay.
Yeah, right.
The V-Copter's coming next.
It's look, companies have a choice to make. Invest in R&D and take it down the road.
Invest in R&D.
If you don't invest in R&D, then you're just going to make the same thing over and over again. And people lose taste after a while. Okay.
We'll see. Unfortunately, this has become a country that used to pay so much for a pen, and then they found out how to make it cheaper and cut back. And other countries are doing it, but they're doing it more efficiently. And therein lies our problem.
Capitalism requires you to seek out, the largest profit margin possible. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And you turn around and, there are companies out there that believe in quality first. Okay. Few and far between. But there are companies that will go the extra mile and put the effort in it. and source parts from a lot of different places. Look, it's hard to compete because what are you competing with? We have laws in this country that govern who can work in a factory, how long they can work. Okay.
Yeah.
Where in other countries, you don't have that.
You see what Big J's put? The only thing that sucks for me is that Google blocked me from being able to go live on YouTube on the Go4 app. And therein lies the problem. That's just one of the, yeah, L Smeghead, you can go lychee, but then I'm in the air. I know some people that have been flying with lychee since I've known them. And I know people that have been flying with the original DJI operating system. I know more of them. But to be able to go live through the Go4 app, they stopped that. Wow, that's been a minute now. People used to go live on the regular. If you remember, Tom, every now and then here in New York, somebody was going live straight through their Go4 app. But again,
I haven't seen it in a while.
Well, that's because of that third party information being sold, traded, whatever that spoof was that they were talking about. Yeah, Tom, calm down. I saw his eyes roll up in his head. He's like, I'm gonna pass out. But you remember all of that, Tom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we all do. It's a workaround at least. I agree, El Smeghead. If
you can go live from lychee?
Yes.
I've used it only with the P3.
Yeah, supposedly you can go live through lychee and a lot of other things, but it depends on if you're doing it for business or not, because I don't think DJI would be too happy finding out their drone went down with lychee on it. But I have heard of it. I've heard of people flying with lychee on their drone and DJI because of DJI Care Refresh had replaced it. So I don't know. I honestly can't endorse it, and I can't say nothing bad about it.
Well, here's the thing.
Except you're violating the TOS terms of service from a DJI drone.
They don't enforce it.
Right.
Weird to me that you would allow them to make this software.
Yes, this is also true. They did allow them to make the software. So where lychee may not be available or honored in some countries, there are other countries that don't give a damn what the hell you have on your drone. I mean, I see some pictures in the Philippines and stuff. These guys are at 2,000 feet. I'm like,
it depends on the civil air laws within the respective countries.
Right, but the props haven't. You would think at 2,000 feet, the props would start to getting.
No. The operating ceiling on a Mavic 2 drone is almost 20,000 feet. There's no issue there. It can handle the air density at that level.
Tom.
It's over.
That's like,
check the specs and you will see.
No, I believe you, but that's like me having a midlife crisis and going out and getting a McLaren, which does.
Well, you're not going at 20,000 feet and then making it down under power. No.
True. Yeah,
okay.
That's true.
Now remember that you can be on a 12,000-foot mountain.
Yes,
you have a valid point. And fly to 13,640 feet.
You have a valid point.
I know. I've done it. Okay, it's in my flight log. Okay,
I took 100 up into the clouds.
Well, there's plenty of shots of people. If you take a look and go, "Oh, that's illegal," Don't please put on my hat.
Big J says you can go live to Facebook. We've seen that.
Look at he's shooting above the clouds. He took off above the clouds. Please, in Manhattan, be in an office building. You're above the damn clouds.
That's true. You can be in the
clouds. Is it legal? No, under FAA guidelines, it's not legal to fly over clouds because you can't see obstacles. Okay? They meant transiting through clouds.
Not the guy I'm
intent. Talking about. Well, that's a different story. Yeah, we know.
And he took that 600. Look at the early videos of the Phantom.
Yeah. Oh, please, my buddy used to post like 3 times a week in Pennsylvania. He moved to Pennsylvania. Everything was 1,800 feet up. Remember, there was no limitations on those drones.
Right. And then
the only problem is sometimes you didn't have enough battery to land under power. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people
you know
don't.
Everybody was like, how high can I fly it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When these first came out, that was the number one thing you wanted to do, right? See if it disappeared.
When I first saw them, that was what attracted me to it.
The views and opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. Okay, we're covered.
And he put it on the ground. And he took off with it, and he was flying up so high up over Flatbush Avenue. All I could see was the green and red lights.
Well, then it wasn't that high because you could still see the lights.
Oh, you could barely see them. I had to look in his phone to see what he could actually see. Yeah. And then when I asked him the price, I just walked away from him.
Well, how many times did the drone lose? My friend used to lose connection all the time, because he'd be 2,700 feet up. Mm-hmm. Okay. And remember, the antennas on those controllers really weren't that great. And we only realized later on, as we continue to fly these things, to orient, instead of having the antenna sticking up like this pointed out, if you're flying 2,000 feet up, those antennas better be straight out, pointing up this way.
Well, I tell you this, the light bridge and the antennas that was on the light bridge controller, which is the same that's on the OcuSync controller, were much better than the Wi-Fi controller. The Wi-Fi controller had that single little tube antenna, and it had two panels inside the plastic, inside the controller itself. That was
it didn't go anywhere.
Not good.
No,
unless you got the radiation giver that I got to send it out.
Oh, you mean
the helicoil?
The hot dog cooker coil? Yeah.
Yeah, the hot dog cooker.
He had to look behind himself to make sure it was turned off.
When the officers came up and said, "You can't fly here," he goes, "I'm not flying. I'm selling hot dogs. What are you talking about? Would you like one? You want yours with sauerkraut and onions?"
That's funny. We just sold out. I'm packing up now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, Corey Mano, how are you, sir? What's good?
Hey,
welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys. And Wednesday nights with those guys is sponsored by those guys. We'll get it one day.
You guys,
what's up, Bob Casey?
We're working on hey, Tom, we're working on a recording for those guys. We're working on a recording.
You guys,
there you go. You can just do the drop.
Yes. Just press a button and it'll do the drop for us. What's that, Erm?
You guys familiar with this drone called the EVGO?
You got to say it slower than that because it sounds kind of funny. EB, small e, capital B, EE.
EVG.
Space Geo, capital GEO.
EVGO.
SensorFly's newest fixed-wing mapping drone. SensorFly is one of the leading companies in fixed-wing mapping drones, has announced a new product in their line. It's a mapping drone called the EB Geo. The EB drone are well known for their unique, lightweight construction. Excuse me. And their expert safety design. They also have a sophisticated payload. Now, what I know about this thing here is that it's flying. It's a fixed wing drone, and it's flying with a
it's a delta wing with a push-up prop.
Right, but it's flying with a Sony camera. Now we all familiar with this camera.
Sony sensor. Yep.
Yeah, we're all familiar with this 20 megapixel one inch sensor. Does that sound familiar to anyone?
Yeah, we know. We know where it's sourced from.
Now, this company, SenseFly, they have 10 years experience in drone mapping technology. Now, they're quite experienced in that, and I think this is their second drone of this type. Also, this drone has a 45-minute flight time. And talking about RTK, with the RTK system, it has a 2.5 centimeter accuracy.
Hey, Bob Casey.
And if this is not a selling point for this drone, it comes with a backpack for you to put everything in it.
There you go.
I think that's so. I seriously think that. I think that is so badass.
What, the backpack?
Because I could see some guy coming up. You know how we have the drone meetups here in New York? Everyone's pulling out their Mavic 2s and their Phantoms, and
guy comes up in a big orange jumpsuit and takes his backpack off.
Yes. I can see this happening.
As long as the backpack comes in orange, also.
That's true. But hey, show what's up? It does look like the Batwing, but as Herman was describing.
Yeah. By the way, the one image, it was a little misleading. The image you were showing, because at first it looked like it flaps its wings like a bat, right? Mm-hmm. All they were doing was they were showing a 3D image of it rotating.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I know.
It was actually just all they were doing was rotating the drone to show you all the sides of the drone. At first, when you saw it, it looked like it was a bat flying. Yeah,
there is a video on that thing that I sent you of it.
This is the video.
Yeah, it's not. It's spinning.
Yes,
it's not
actually spinning. Yes,
and the camera, by the way, is a downward.
Yeah,
it's a downward.
That's what I wanted to point out right here,
because it's for mapping.
1-inch sensor. I must stress 1-inch sensor.
Yeah, 1-inch Sony sensor, because look, what you're also getting, remember that when you're doing this mapping, your level of resolution goes up significantly the more you can overlap those images. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you lay out your waypoints, they're not abutting each other. They're actually overlapping. Think about it. When you shoot a panorama, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should overlap at least 1/3 of that panorama.
Exactly.
So if you shoot manually with an SLR camera, you got to get in the habit of at least 1/3 of each image you take is overlapped. So this way, when it gets stitched together, it's flawless. The same thing with mapping. The larger the sensor, the more resolution you're going to get on that crossover.
You're 100% right, but I have to throw this in, Tom. We want to give, for copyright reasons, this is non-for-profit. We'd like to give EBGO credit for this video. Now, if you'd like to see the rest of the video and the interview that these guys do for it, I'll put it in the chat for you.
Put in the comments.
Which is what we did the last time, but they were just messing with Herman. I'm convinced. Eddie Nunez, what's up, man, and welcome back.
By the way, Herman, just get Sean from Geeks Monitor to deal with them.
Hey, Eddie Nunez, I know you know about antenna mods.
Eddie knows about antenna mods.
In fact, I just want to say
people that fly with Eddie know about his antenna mods.
I just want to say this one thing, Tom. For those of you who have those antenna mods, I hope you don't plan on having kids in the future.
This dude,
please, with everything else.
It's got the power right there. It's got the Wi-Fi for what's those stuff? The 5.8 and the 2.4 booster right here in the front.
And it cooks hot dogs.
This thing.
The only thing I noticed whenever he was flying, there were dogs running around with like 5 legs and 2 tails, and
this thing will fly forever.
Yeah, just don't stand downrange of it. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Or point it at people because it could be considered a weapon.
It's just that your battery time is not good for the range that you get with it.
Well, that's a given, but
well, all I'm going to say is, if I'm a cop coming up on you with that flying, okay, I'm looking for Michael J. Fox also, because that looks like a Back to the Future contraption.
It does.
Get that drone up to 88 kilometers. That's what you got to do, and watch out, baby.
You can send it right into the future.
That's right.
Back into the past.
So send it forward to see if there's a Phantom 15 or not, right? Okay.
You know what? If I could do that, and I told
please, I would be looking. I'd be looking to see what the stock trading price is on GameStop for. Okay, if I could do that. Okay.
Well,
fucking GameStop trading at 400.
Sterilizer.
You know, Tell me, Eddie, you got in on a little bit of that change. Come on, Eddie, tell me.
You know, like I was telling Lawrence, what I'm waiting for is that when if we are around when this whole thing, if it comes to fruition, the way they're talking,
we'll be in hovering wheelchairs.
Drones delivering things. I'm waiting to see that guy here in New York that takes his whatever they're calling it at the time, and follows one of these delivery drones.
Because you know it's going to happen. Excuse me. Yes, it's a jizz ripper.
Hey, Grant Aerials. Grant Aerials. My my snow blowing overlaps too. That's why it takes me so goddamn long to get it done.
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah, this is.
I like
true.
El Smeghead.
I could see someone now. That's a DHL. That's a so-and-so drone. Let's see how far it's going.
A DJI drone.
Yeah.
I guess Porch Pirates will have to come up with a new name instead of Porch Pirates, right?
Okay.
Listen, follow this drone to see if you can intercept.
I'm waiting for the first person out in the Midwest to take a shot at one, because you know it's going to happen.
You're talking about
the felony.
You know
it's a felony.
I know this. But it happens every year, Tom.
And opinions. It's a felony.
All the views and opinions that heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel tonight and or in the chat. But Tom,
it's a felony.
I know that.
Don't shoot at drones.
Especially delivery drones.
Don't shoot at weddings. Don't shoot at drones. Don't shoot at aircraft.
So don't shoot at
weddings. Yeah, please. That's a big thing. That's a celebration thing. Shooting up in the air at weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here?
Remember.
Yes.
It happens.
In
America.
In America. It happens.
In America.
Okay, but more so in the Middle East. Okay?
No.
Remember those bullets have to come down at some point.
In New York.
In New York? You haven't listened
we
outside
just
your
have random
house?
shootings, dude.
You haven't listened outside?
We had 6 shootings yesterday.
At weddings?
In New York.
No, in New York.
It doesn't have to be a wedding in New York for a shooting. Okay?
True.
As I'm saying, I don't know anybody shooting at weddings. I've never.
But I do know. What if
not
stealing
here,
a drone?
Herman, not here.
My package.
Okay? They shoot at weddings here because they weren't invited to the damn wedding. They shoot at Sweet 16s here.
Corey Mano
they shoot at communions here.
Hold on. Okay? Corey Mano says, what if a drone is stealing my package? Can I get it? No, Corey, no, Corey. I'm assuming you mean it goes to drop it down, whether it's tethered or whatever, and it doesn't disattach.
There's actually only one place. There's currently only one place a drone is allowed to be shot. Actually, 2 places.
Show says
a drone is allowed to be shot down. Of course, it's always only a felony if they catch the shooter. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
any shooter. But there's only 2 places you can actually shoot a drone down legally in the United States: over a military installation and over a prison. Those are 2 places that they can shoot them down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would figure that they
but unless you're working on a military base and that's your job, or in a prison, don't shoot drones, please.
True. Okay? True. I would have to agree with that tenfold.
And if you do, use buckshot. Okay, so whatever comes down is not a problem.
So plain and simple, don't shoot into the sky, period. Because they do that on New Year's Eve for some reason. Like I've heard people firing their guns, and I would pray that they're firing them into the air, but don't do that either.
You mean like 4th of July and stuff like that?
Yeah. You know, the silly holidays.
Those things I've heard of, but the wedding thing, no, I don't know anybody to shoot.
Nah, a drone porch pirate.
Wedding
can you shoot them? Can you shoot it? Corey, you're reaching, Corey. Corey Mano's really reaching here. If you follow, he says, what if a drone is stealing my package? A drone is stealing my package. Can I get it? Then he comes back. Nah, a drone porch pilot. Can you shoot it if it's a drone porch pilot? The FAA, nor does those guys approve of anything like that. I will not answer that question, Corey.
Corey, we haven't had a drone deliver a package yet. Wait for one to get delivered.
Yeah, give it some time.
For one to actually pick one up and take it.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact the first time someone that's flying a drone, whether it be camera drone or FPV, and they see a delivery drone going by, they're going to go squirrel and go, "Oh wow, that's a delivery drone." And what Herman was mentioning earlier, there is going to be some fool to say, "I'm going to follow it."
Listen,
you know how Herman.
There's actually a term, Herman, for shooting in the sky at weddings. It's called celebratory shooting, celebratory gunfire.
But that's something that's really made.
But a bullet fired into the sky, while it doesn't fall to the earth at the same muzzle velocity it was shot at, it's likely to fall to earth at 200 feet a second, which is sufficient to penetrate your skin. Okay, and a bullet penetrating your skin is never a good thing.
No. But
it can also fracture your skull. So if it's coming out of the sky, all of a sudden this hits you out of the sky because some knucklehead redneck was trying to shoot down a drone.
Right, but they don't usually do a report on how many of those incidents take place.
They're just classified as shootings.
Well, no, because like when we're talking about bullets falling from the sky and shit like that, and that's randomly catching somebody in the shoulder or.
It happens. It happens more than you realize, man.
Herman,
listen.
So hold on.
Report on how often that happens.
Okay, well, Herman, here's the perfect example.
There are stats out
Tom,
there. Okay, if you want to.
Let me put it to rest, Tom. How many times have you seen in the Middle East someone with an AK-47 shooting in the air at an angle because they're not close enough to shoot? But a lot of people don't notice. You fire a shell from an AK-47, it will land an inch deep, 2 miles away, 1.5 miles away. So, like Tom was saying, it may go up with very fast velocity, but it's going to come down with less velocity and still
I understand how that
damage.
Works. Once again, there is no report on how often people are getting hit with those shots.
True. True. You're
Once
right.
again, so then we must have to think that a whole lot of them hit the ground safely.
So in Puerto Rico last year, approximately 7 people have died from celebratory gunfire, returning munitions to the earth. What goes up must come down. The dangers of celebratory shooting. Dude, you asked for it. You asked for it.
I'm saying 7 people. Okay? Once again,
just in Puerto Rico.
No, I got you.
Just
7 people. Once again, I go back to like I was talking about with the car industry. Is that a problem?
Well, it's much like, hey, only 6 people got shot in New York yesterday. What's the big deal?
Right.
There's 12 million people here. Only 6 got shot yesterday. It's not a big deal unless you're one of those 6.
Right.
Okay.
Or it's when your family.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying to you that, I'm not.
You guys are funny in the last half hour of the stream. Herman's having a lot of fun.
I'm not even drinking.
Herman's having a lot of fun here.
That it doesn't. That it doesn't often take out as much people as we think it would.
No, it doesn't.
One is too many.
No, you're right. To the society, but
okay. The better statistic I would like to see is how many knuckleheads take out people every year, just by pure stupidity. Okay. That's got to be a huge number.
Well, that's obvious because they had 2 knuckleheads playing with guns yesterday, and it shot through the wall and shot a lady in her lower arm. Yeah. And I understand what you're saying, Tom, but trust me, I do.
We had a guy. What was an incident that happened a few years ago? Guy with a hunting rifle went off. The thing shot off, went down the street, through the wall, and killed someone's child.
Well, see, the big problem is, people get handguns for home protection, right? And the big problem with that is the velocity of that round will penetrate the walls easily, and your neighbors are then at risk. Yes. The best weapon to get for home security is a shotgun. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to aim it well.
Right, and it doesn't. It's not. You're not going to have to rebuild the home afterwards. Those guys.
That's true. That's true.
Or some sort of submachine gun to protect your home. Hey, buy a new home when you finish, and you probably miss him.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a valid point. You have a very valid point.
And you probably missed the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, El Smeghead, I see you're hanging out with us. I appreciate that. Everyone that comes here to support Wednesday nights with those guys and Sunday nights with those guys, we appreciate it ever so much. Seriously. You know, and we try to keep you guys interested. I'm not going to throw any plugs at or punches at any other live stream because I don't want no one to say, oh, he was saying this last night about us. I'm not talking about anyone, but we try to keep you coming back and we try to keep you interested.
Look, we don't talk about anyone and we talk about everyone.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. There we go. There we go.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
We're just here.
Agree to disagree. That's the biggest problem we have in this country. We can't agree to disagree.
Warning: if you don't want to get shot,
like
stay out of
Grant
America.
Ariels, yeah.
No, well, you're supposed to type it. No, see. Hold on.
Come to America and not get shot. Some of us have been here for a long time and haven't been shot.
Not for lack of trying, though. Please, okay. Just telling you, okay. I have working the streets. I had a few close calls.
Oh, well,
by a matter of inches. Okay, so
everybody's had close calls. I'm just saying.
We were driving down.
Brian,
we were going on a job. We were driving down Bainbridge Avenue up in the Bronx.
Well, look at what you
and it was about 3 a.m. in the morning. Something didn't look right about the address.
Mm-hmm.
And rolling down the block, I was driving, and behind us was an RMP, Radio Motor Patrol, cop car.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, a shot rang out, came right through the windshield, through the steering column, right over the top of my arm, and out the door. And I never knew I could get a vehicle into park and underneath it in one fucking move. Okay. And I remember the police officer who was driving the RMP, he was a lefty, because in no time flat, he was under the ambulance with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at him, turning to him as we're both under the vehicle. And I said to him, "What are you doing, man? Get out there and protect me."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he was a lefty because he pushed his service revolver over to me and he said, "Fuck you. You get out there and protect me." And I pushed it back and I said, "I guess we'll both stay under here." And it basically was an ambush for the cops. They just happened to get us too. So.
Oh, wow.
It was 1981 in the South Bronx.
Mm.
It's okay, Sean.
Oh, by the way, some of you probably weren't even born there. Although I think we have an older crowd here, so thank you. Okay.
I would like to think the crowd is mostly from like 40 and older, but we do have some young whippersnappers that pop in and show us support as well.
I was 18, 19 years old, and I had to do the whole Matrix move one night as it whizzed by.
Yeah, well, 36, it's sad. It really is. 36 people in 36 people in New York City so far this year, man.
Hey, El Smeg. Hey, Tom, you see what El Smeg had put? I only watch in hope of hearing Tom pronounce coffee.
This comes with the package, man.
That's the Brooklyn accent, you know?
Okay? You can take me out of the city, but you'll know exactly where I came from. There's no doubt about it.
What do you want for breakfast? Coffee.
Hey, if you think I have a good accent, you got to hear our New York City chief of department in NYPD.
Oh, the commish.
Yes.
The commissioner. Oh, yeah. If you want it, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Just Google New York City Police Commissioner.
Yeah. Terry Monahan.
Yes.
He's got the best. My wife giggles every time he's on the news. Okay.
You know who he sounds like to me?
She just loves his accent.
Tom, you want to know who he sounds like to me? Ray Romano.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He sounds like Ray from the Everyone Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
If you watch
the typical.
The commissioner sounds like him. He definitely has that. Like me, born in '86. LOL.
You know what?
Corey Mano.
My mother.
86. Oh man, give me a break.
So my mother and father speak Spanish first language. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and my mother used to get a kick out of the Purdue chicken guy and Bloomberg speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
And she would be in tears.
Well, yeah. Look, the Purdue guy. Remember, we had a mayor that we thought was Frank Purdue, called Ed Koch.
Yeah.
Stop.
Right.
Stop.
And then we had Dave Dinkins. One thing about Dave, I like Dave Dinkins. He was a really nice guy too. One thing about Dave Dinkins, though, it could be the middle of the winter, and he was still sweating like there was no tomorrow. Okay. Could that man sweat?
Listen,
okay, he would sweat in a blizzard. He'd always have that handkerchief wiping his forehead.
You have the weight of the city on you.
Man, man.
But Tom, I think there was a lot more to that.
Well, remember, he was the first black mayor, too. So
I was leading to that, but I didn't want to say that.
Yeah. No. He spent 4 years with a target on his back. Please.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because he did get quite a few threats.
No, that's not a lisp. El Smeghead. Terry Monahan, that's not a lisp. That's the accent.
No, he really talks like that clearly.
Oh, yeah.
He clearly speaks like that.
He's a funny dude, also.
Yes,
he's a funny guy. Okay, and a decent guy, too. He's a decent guy.
You have to make fun of a lot of
no matter where I go in this country, just forget about anywhere else in the world. In Amsterdam, somebody came right up to me and said, "Where are you from in Brooklyn?" Okay.
Get out of here.
I swear. Okay. I ordered a beer. There you go. Okay. I ordered a beer.
Okay.
And a guy walked right over to me and said, what part of Brooklyn are you from? I said, I'm from Queens. He goes, well, that's close. Okay.
It is.
But yeah, anywhere I go in this country, right away, where are you from?
Yeah, I got that in Florida. What part of New York are you from?
Yeah. Well, yeah. All you got to say is Delray Beach. Florida is New York, man. It's just it's the summer holiday. It's like the Jersey Shore to us, man. Okay, Florida.
I was down there for I think it was Memorial Day weekend. Those people live from all over.
Yeah, but I bet you if you did a census on Florida, the majority of people come from New York.
You know what, Tom?
I'm talking about the permanent residents.
I would believe that. I would believe that, Tom, because there's a town south of Atlanta. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but a friend of mine that grew up in this city here, where we all grew up, said half the people from this city are in this town. He's like, so I could believe that. There are parts of Florida and the South that you could go to, and you would hear a New York accent. You would hear someone from New York.
Absolutely.
I remember the first time I actually ever left New York. I was 15 years old, and we were in North Carolina, and we stopped at McDonald's. And it was kind of funny because this is my first time ever leaving New York with my uncle. We were going to visit relatives. And in the McDonald's, the girl says, "Good morning, sir. How may I help you?" And I bust out laughing. So she goes, "Sir, what's the matter?" And I was like, "Nothing. I just never heard an accent like that." But she started laughing because she had never heard a New York accent. So we're standing there laughing at each other. And my uncle's like, "Excuse me, get out the way. I'd like to order."
That's just like the girl asked my cousin, "What's your name?" And he asked her, "How do you spell that?" She said, "What?" He said,
What's your?
He said, "How do you spell Cho?"
Yep.
Is anyone going on after you tonight, Herman? Doesn't Bill Coast to Coast go on?
That's Bill.
Bill goes live. So
I believe Ken Dono is on too tonight.
Okay. Well, Bill Coast to Coast, I think, is going live.
Going on or not?
No, I was just asking because it's usually we get reminded of who's coming on and who's not.
Well, that's what I said. I really don't know. I think Roger might be on for a little while before Bill, and then, like I said, Bill goes on as 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill's on at 8:30, and then I know Ken's on at 9, so that's the usual times that they're on.
We hope we've made a supporter of you, Big J's, and you're more than welcome to come back anytime. Like I said, we appreciate you guys. Guys and gals, because I know there's lurkers out there and they're like, oh, he just said the guys. So guys and gals out there that may be lurking in the cut.
Or if you gender fluid, that's okay with us too. Whatever works for you.
Exactly. So we just appreciate
we're either non-judgmental or completely judgmental. Okay.
Depending on what day
but
of the
you
week
always
is.
know. At least you know.
This is true. This is true. We are pretty honest on that aspect.
Like a DJ name.
I hope you guys plan on coming back next week, and don't forget to check out Sunday nights with those guys on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's on Novice Quad's channel.
Yeah, on my channel. And
other guy over there.
Herman's here. He's the celebrity of us, Tom. You know that. He's been on Ken Herron. Ken Herron is featured
he's all
in videos.
over the place, man.
He went to fly with Ken Herron day after Christmas at down in Jersey with Ron and all these people. Yeah. And he even had Ken Herron contact him and ask him for a younger picture. I don't even have a young picture of myself at that age.
Dude, do you realize we're going to get stopped in the streets, Lawrence, and asked, do we know Herman?
That's not
okay.
Cool.
Dude, Tom.
You know, Tom, it's just a matter of time, man. That next meetup, they're going to push right past us, dude.
Tom, you want to hear something funny?
Can you sign my Phantom for me?
Jay Santiago. Okay. You guys know Jay Santiago, right? It was the summer, and Herman was like, well, next weekend, in 2 weeks, then next weekend, I'm having a block party. So come on through if you want. So I had to work that day, and I told Herman I would be there a little late. So I pull up in front of his building. The block is packed with people. You see smoke from grills. Everyone's laughing. Music's playing. And this guy gentleman walks up to me with the biker outfit on and says, those guys. And I go, yeah. I don't know who the hell it is. I go, yeah. He goes, Novice Quads. I go, okay. He knows me from YouTube. All right. He says, oh, my name is Jay Rivera. You looking for Phantom Flight 101? He's right over there. So I'm like, okay. We introduced ourselves, but
that's
from the Bronx.
He drove 3 minutes of fame, man. You only have 12 more coming.
Listen, okay? Dude, I was surprised. It was almost scary because I'm like, this guy knows me and I don't know who it is. I'm luckily I'm not a bad guy or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was interesting because he's like, you're looking for a Herman? Phantom Flight 101? He's right over there. And I look over through the crowd and Herman was there on the grill slapping.
Herman's already signing autographs. He's signing drones. Bring that Sharpie with you, Herman.
Oh no!
To the next meetup,
let me explain something. Tom.
Okay,
Tom, you must come through this barbecue. They didn't have one this year. I'm highly upset about.
He's got his Sharpies ready. Would you like that in red or blue? Okay. You got to get the silver Sharpie for the Mavics.
Tom, Herman burnt the hell out of those grills. He was running 2-3 grills at a time. There was. You have to show up the next one that they have. Seriously, Tom. Not only did I leave with a full belly, but he was like, I'm gonna give you something to give to your wife and daughter. And I was like, why? Did I not say that, Herman?
I've been actually trying to pass that off to some of the younger guys around here so I can actually get off that grill. Somebody's got to take the torch and take it to the end of the race.
Yeah, he was burning the whole time I was there. He was socializing it. They had the whole corner. I mean, you couldn't even get in, and it's like, what's the password? Yo,
I set up a whole kitchen.
It was sectioned off, and it was really good. That I missed that, definitely. So hopefully this year or the end of the summer, we'll be
people vaccinated, man, so we can get out there and fly together again.
This is true. Herman, you ready to get the hell out of here?
Yeah, about that time. Like I say all the time, you guys. Don't forget to check out.
Roger just went live.
Yeah, I told you he was going live. Don't forget to check out on Sunday night with those guys from Novice Quads. We'll be there. One of these days, we'll get another day during the week. It'll be on Tom's channel. So we'll get this going eventually.
When Tom's broadcasting from a different location.
Okay.
Okay.
When he gets the new studio, we'll have a third night.
The RV. See him now.
On the road, baby. On the road.
RV.
So, guys, I'd like to thank you all for hanging out tonight.
Appreciate it, Herman.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
man.
Tonight, you know, you guys make it extra better.
We appreciate you supporters.
And you guys in the chat, thank you very much. We appreciate you all. I thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And I'll see you next time on Phantom Flight 101 with those guys.
Good night, everyone. Be safe.
Good night,
Fly
everybody.
safe.